Midlife is often viewed as a period of stability. We've built our careers, raised our families, and fulfilled many social expectations. On the surface, everything seems to be in place. Yet, it's precisely in this phase, our 40s, 50s, and even 60s, that a quiet question begins to emerge: is this all there is? This question doesn't necessarily come from dissatisfaction. Rather, it arises from a deep awareness that time is finite and that life, while predictable, may no longer feel alive. The things that once excited us may no longer stir the same passion. Routine replaces curiosity. And in the absence of something new, even a well-ordered life can start to feel hollow. But what if this question isn't a signal of decline, but an invitation? What if it's not a crisis, but a calling? In truth, this moment of reflection can mark the beginning of a powerful transformation. And at the heart of that transformation is learning not just for survival, but for revival. Learning new skills in midlife is not merely about keeping pace with a changing world. It's about reigniting curiosity, reconnecting with a sense of purpose, and reclaiming the ability to grow. It allows us to discover parts of ourselves that have been forgotten, postponed, or never even explored. Whether it's picking up a foreign language, navigating digital tools, mastering a creative craft, or cultivating emotional resilience, the act of learning becomes an act of reclaiming our narrative. In a society that often glorifies youth and novelty, choosing to learn at midlife is a radical act. It says, I am not finished. I am not done evolving. I still have dreams to chase, talents to uncover, and contributions to make. This podcast is an exploration of that mindset. It's a roadmap for those who are ready to begin again, not from scratch, but from experience. Together, we'll examine why midlife is the perfect time to learn, what skills matter most, how to overcome the mental barriers that hold us back, and how others have already transformed their lives by saying yes to growth. Because this isn't the end. It might just be the most important beginning of all. Why midlife is the ideal time to learn. There is a quiet power that comes with midlife. It's the power of perspective, the ability to look back on decades of experiences and recognize patterns, lessons, and opportunities missed or taken. With this reflection comes clarity about who we are, what we value, and where we still want to go. And this clarity makes midlife the ideal moment to re-engage with learning. Unlike earlier stages of life, where education often feels like a requirement, midlife learning is a conscious choice. It's not imposed, it's embraced. We are no longer motivated by external pressures like grades or job titles. Instead, we learn because we want to understand more deeply, contribute more meaningfully, or simply feel more alive. Another key advantage is emotional intelligence. Midlifers often bring a calm, grounded approach to challenges. They've navigated setbacks, juggled responsibilities, and learned how to manage expectations, both their own and others. This maturity enhances learning, because it allows for greater patience with the process, resilience in the face of difficulty, and compassion for oneself when things don't go perfectly. Moreover, learning in midlife is more purpose-driven. Whether it's acquiring digital literacy to stay connected with grandchildren, learning a language to travel more meaningfully, or developing public speaking skills to launch a community initiative, there is usually a why that drives every learning effort. And when learning is tied to real-life purpose, it becomes not just easier, but more transformative. Finally, many people in midlife are seeking reinvention. The career that once felt fulfilling may now feel stagnant. The role as a parent or partner may be shifting. The dreams that were deferred in early adulthood begin to resurface. And in the face of all this change, learning becomes an empowering tool. It offers direction, structure, and hope. So while some may view midlife as a time of settling, it can instead be seen as a time of awakening. A moment to say, I've come this far, and I'm not done yet. Learning allows us to reimagine what the second half of life can look like. And for many, it's the beginning of a chapter that's not only different, but better. Psychological barriers and how to overcome them. While midlife offers the wisdom and motivation to learn, it also surfaces a unique set of internal barriers, subtle, powerful, and often self-imposed. These mental and emotional blocks can quietly erode confidence and keep us from stepping into our potential. But like any obstacle, they can be recognized, addressed, and ultimately overcome. The most persistent of these is the belief that it's too late. This narrative is deeply ingrained. For years, we've heard that learning is a young person's game, that the brain slows down, or that change becomes harder with age. But modern neuroscience tells a different story. The brain remains plastic well into later life, capable of creating new neural connections, especially when stimulated by meaningful challenges. In fact, engaging in lifelong learning is one of the best ways to keep the brain healthy, resilient, and sharp. Closely linked to this is the fear of failure. After years of being competent and in control, whether in our careers, families, or communities, the idea of starting something new can feel vulnerable. What if we're not good at it? What if we look foolish? What if we can't keep up? These are natural fears. But the truth is, every learner is a beginner. And in midlife, being a beginner again can be an act of humility, courage, and self-trust. Another subtle barrier is the tendency to compare. Surrounded by a fast-moving digital world and stories of younger people achieving incredible things, it's easy to feel out of step. But learning in midlife isn't a race. It's not about speed or competition. It's about depth, meaning, and personal transformation. What we bring to learning at this stage, empathy, reflection, context, can't be rushed or replicated. Then there's the issue of time. Juggling responsibilities, jobs, caregiving, community roles, can make learning feel like a luxury. But here's the shift, learning doesn't have to be time-consuming to be impactful. A few minutes a day, focused and consistent, can create profound results over time. It's not about doing more, but doing with intention. Finally, many people simply feel disconnected from their ability to grow. After years of routine, it's easy to forget what it feels like to be curious, excited, or inspired. Reconnecting with this mindset takes practice. Start small. Follow your interest. Allow yourself to explore without judgment. The spark of learning often returns not with pressure, but with permission. In the end, the biggest barrier to learning in midlife isn't age, it's doubt. Doubt that we're capable. Doubt that it's worth the effort. Doubt that change is still possible. But each time we choose to challenge that doubt, to take a single step toward learning, we reclaim a part of ourselves. And that part, the one that's curious, alive, and open, is exactly what leads us forward. Valuable skills to learn in midlife. When it comes to choosing what to learn, the possibilities are vast, but not all skills are created equal in terms of impact. In midlife, the most valuable skills are those that serve both the mind and the heart. These are skills that reignite our curiosity, help us adapt to changing times, and enable us to contribute in meaningful ways. The following categories offer a strong foundation for personal and professional growth. Languages. Learning a new language isn't just practical, it's deeply stimulating for the brain. It enhances memory, sharpens focus, and opens up cultural doors that can enrich our travel, work, and relationships. For many midlifers, learning a new language offers a sense of adventure, without leaving home. It also creates new channels for connecting with others, whether through travel, online communities, or even teaching. Technology and digital skills. From smartphones and cloud storage to social media and artificial intelligence, the digital world can feel overwhelming. But learning to navigate it is not only empowering, it's essential. Tech skills like video editing, blogging, creating podcasts, and using digital collaboration tools can open up new avenues for work, creativity, and communication. Many people in midlife are now turning their interests into online platforms, small businesses, or digital portfolios that give new life to their talents. Financial literacy, understanding money, how to manage it, invest it, and make it work for you, is crucial at this stage of life. Many people reach their peak earning years in midlife but may not have received formal education in budgeting, saving, or investing. Learning about personal finance, retirement planning, or even real estate can bring peace of mind and long-term security. Financial confidence is deeply tied to freedom. Creative arts, the arts are not just for the talented. They're for anyone who wants to express themselves, explore emotions, or reconnect with joy. Writing, painting, photography, music, and crafts are powerful ways to tap into creativity. These outlets also promote mindfulness, relieve stress, and provide a sense of accomplishment. For some, creativity becomes a side hustle. For others, it's a return to childhood passions they had once put aside. Soft skills and personal development, communication, empathy, time management, emotional regulation, and public speaking are not just career boosters, they're life skills. In midlife, these capacities help us navigate relationships, lead with confidence, and mentor the next generation. Learning how to listen more deeply, speak more clearly, and act with greater intentionality improves every interaction we have. Ultimately, the best skills to learn in midlife are those that align with your values, goals, and passions. They should excite you, challenge you, and feel relevant to the kind of life you want to build next. Whether you're seeking personal enrichment, a career shift, or simply a new creative outlet, the right skills can become stepping stones to a future filled with possibility. Real-life inspirational stories. Sometimes, the most powerful motivation comes not from theory or advice, but from witnessing transformation in others. Real people, just like you, have said yes to learning in midlife and have seen it reshape their lives. These stories aren't about overnight success or dramatic reinvention. They're about persistence, courage, and the joy of becoming more fully oneself. Take Anna, a retired schoolteacher in her early 60s. After decades in the classroom, she felt a sense of loss when she stopped working. The routines, the students, the sense of purpose, suddenly gone. One day, her granddaughter suggested she try recording English grammar tips on YouTube. What began as a fun experiment turned into a thriving channel with thousands of subscribers, mostly adults and seniors rediscovering their love for learning. Anna didn't just teach again, she found a new audience, new confidence, and a renewed voice. Or consider Daniel, a 52-year-old former sales manager. After being laid off, he realized how much the job market had changed. Rather than return to a field that no longer inspired him, he decided to take an online course in software development. It was hard at first, he hadn't studied in decades. But he stuck with it. 18 months later, Daniel now works remotely as a junior developer, enjoying the flexibility and creativity his previous job lacked. More importantly, he rediscovered his ability to learn, adapt, and thrive. Then there's a group of friends in their late 40s and 50s who met at a local yoga studio. All of them were navigating some form of transition, divorce, career change, empty nesting. Together, they decided to learn how to host wellness webinars and create an online support network. None of them had experience with technology or broadcasting. But through trial, error, and shared laughter, they built something meaningful, not just for others, but for themselves. Their platform now hosts monthly talks, meditation sessions, and a vibrant online forum. These stories remind us that learning in midlife isn't about competition or perfection. It's about following your curiosity, honoring your experiences, and giving yourself permission to begin again. When we see others make that leap, something inside us shifts. We realize, if they can do it, so can we. And maybe that's the point, not to become someone entirely new, but to become more deeply who we've always been. So how to begin your learning journey? Starting anything new, especially in midlife, can feel daunting. The key to beginning well is to focus less on how far you need to go, and more on how you want to feel as you move forward. A fulfilling learning journey isn't about speed or scale. It's about alignment, consistency, and connection. The first step is clarity. Ask yourself, what do I want to learn, and why? Do I want to improve my career prospects? Connect more deeply with others? Express myself creatively? Reduce stress? Identifying your why gives your learning direction and meaning. It also provides motivation when things feel difficult. Next, consider your learning style. Do you prefer watching videos, listening to podcasts, reading articles, or engaging in hands-on practice? There are countless resources available today: online courses, YouTube tutorials, language apps, community classes, coaching programs, and more. Choose the format that fits your lifestyle and preferences. There's no one-size-fits-all. The best method is the one you'll stick with. Start small. One of the biggest mistakes new learners make is overcommitting at the beginning. A 15-minute daily habit can be more powerful than a 3-hour weekend binge. Small, consistent efforts compound over time. Progress may feel slow at first, but it builds momentum. Give yourself permission to take baby steps, and to celebrate them. Don't underestimate the power of community. Find people who share your interests and values. Join an online forum, a local club, or a learning group. Learning is more engaging and sustainable when you do it with others. You're more likely to stay motivated, accountable, and inspired. And finally, be kind to yourself. Expect setbacks. Welcome confusion. Normalize the awkwardness of being new at something. Growth isn't linear. There will be days when things click and days when they don't. But every moment of effort counts, and every minute you invest in yourself is a declaration that you are still evolving. The beginning doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be real. One click. One sentence. One class. One small shift that sets everything else in motion. Learning as a way to fully live, not just to work. Learning in midlife is not just a means to an end, it is a way of living more fully. Too often, we associate education with utility, gaining a promotion, switching careers, or becoming more relevant. But the true reward of learning goes beyond productivity. It touches something deeper, our sense of identity, vitality, and joy. When you learn something new, your brain lights up in unfamiliar ways. You awaken neural pathways that haven't been used in years. You surprise yourself. You remember what it feels like to be curious, to not have all the answers, to explore. This sense of exploration is not reserved for the young, it's a lifelong human need. And in midlife, it becomes a powerful reminder that you are still becoming. Learning also brings emotional benefits. It helps build confidence, especially in a stage of life when some roles may be shifting or fading. The act of learning reminds us that growth is always possible, even in small and quiet ways. It combats stagnation, isolation, and the creeping sense of irrelevance that can sometimes appear as we age. There's also joy in mastery, not perfection, but progress. Whether it's completing a course, delivering your first presentation, publishing a blog post, or simply speaking a full sentence in a new language, these small milestones have big impact. They foster pride, autonomy, and a renewed sense of possibility. And when we learn, we inspire. Children, grandchildren, colleagues, and peers watch and take note. By choosing to learn at this stage in life, you model resilience and curiosity. You send a powerful message that growth never expires, and that the pursuit of meaning is lifelong. Ultimately, learning in midlife is not about doing more. It's about being more engaged, more awake, more alive. It's about turning ordinary days into opportunities for discovery. It's about embracing the idea that the best parts of your story might still be unwritten. In this light, learning becomes not just an activity, but a lifestyle. A way of honoring yourself. A way of choosing vitality over routine. A way of saying, I am still here. And I'm still growing. Learning new skills in midlife is not a luxury, it is an act of self-renewal. In a world that changes faster than ever, the willingness to learn is what keeps us relevant, resilient, and rooted in purpose. More than that, it is what keeps us young, not in years, but in spirit. The journey isn't about becoming someone else. It's about returning to the most curious, courageous version of who you already are. With every new word you speak, every tool you master, every idea you explore, you reclaim your place in a world that needs your voice, your wisdom, and your evolution. So whether you're picking up a book, opening an app, joining a class, or simply daring to ask, what if, know that you are not alone, and that it is never too late. In fact, there may never be a better time than now. This is not the end of your story. It's a second beginning. A second life. And it starts with one choice: to keep learning.